Aziza wrote down her answers.
I I was thinking about it since 7 o'clock this morning.
Oh boy. Got two of my faves, two former players, Aziza and James. Welcome, welcome, welcome. James is a recent graduate of City Polytech. He is now going to attend SUNY Polytech, no relations. So I heard. Former student body president, doing big things. Shout out to James, welcome. And then Aziza, graduate of LaGuardia and a Juilliard trumpet player, will be attending Brooklyn College for music. She got recruited because that's how special she is. Got recruited. They were stealing her from other colleges. So welcome to the show as well. So I asked them to come on with me today because I want them to talk about their transition from high school to college during this crazy pandemic time. First off, I'd just like to ask, whoever wants to start first, how has it been since the pandemic started? Given that you guys were in high school, knowing you were going to make this big transition, how has it been? Who's going to
Well,
jump on first?
I
Okay.
can jump on that question really quick. So for me personally, going to LaGuardia for 3 years prior to the pandemic, I was always busy. Like I always had something to do within my 24-hour day. Um, School didn't start till 8 o'clock in the morning. I left my house at like 5 o'clock to show up for 7, get an hour of practicing in. Um, School from 8 to 4:30, basketball practice from 4:30 to 6:30, which means I didn't get home until like 8:30, spent an hour or two on homework, repeat that whole schedule. So transitioning from a very busy schedule to not doing anything at all during the pandemic and being home constantly, it was really hard trying to find that medium of how to stay busy and be productive.
Oh wow. Well, it sound like your schedule sound like a grown-up schedule. Oh boy. Oh my goodness. All right, James. Don't feel like you got to compete with that schedule because
My schedule was totally opposite. Class didn't start until later in the day, like 9 o'clock, and then certain days I would join clubs just just to be away from home, just to keep keep myself busy, and that's where the student body president came in. There was a running campaign which was just started, so I was actually like the first group to actually join that, and that helped me um throughout the week. And then also I had a different clubs, which is like just like sports and gaming clubs to go to, which is ended around like 5 o'clock. And then going from that to just staying at home was like, at first it didn't seem that much of a deal. Like it seemed cool. And then over time it got to the point where it's like, okay, I don't want to be here no more.
yeah.
Like it's just I thought that staying at home and going to school would be better, and in case it wasn't at all. So it went like, I want to say it went from being a good thing, and then it was kind of steady, and then it went down.
Mhm.
So
Well, James and I we laugh a lot, but listen, it sounded like you were very busy. You were very very busy, very involved, and I know you traveled from Staten Island to the city. A
yes,
lot. So let's include that travel because that travel's a beast. So I
yes.
mean, you were busy as well, and you were busy, you were involved, doing what you need to do, and to for both of you to go from that to nothing, it's tough. You get to stay home and spend time with your family, but at the same time, you start to find out you're a creature of habit, right?
Hmm.
And you like to be involved and do things. I mean, for me,
Yeah.
I went from being an athletic director to having sports all day to being home, and I love being home with my kids and things like that. But it's just a different vibe, a different feel, and
Hmm.
but thank you for sharing your story. So it sounds like both of you went remote.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, both of you went remote. Okay, so let's talk about that process of applying for colleges and trying to find the best fit for you. There's no like visits, necessarily. So if whoever wants to start, just talk about what that process is like.
Um, I can start, and it's funny because right before the pandemic started, like before they kept us in the house, we were supposed to go on a trip, I think, to Syracuse, upstate, I believe, to Syracuse, which is like a 3-day trip overnight. You used to do a whole lot of, you used to have fun on the trip, go see colleges, and then this happened and it canceled everything. So the rest of my junior year, I didn't really get a chance to look at a lot of other schools in the city. And so when I was actually going through the process of looking at schools, at first I wasn't too sure of which school would be what I like or like what I wanted to do. And then it came down to what am I going to school for, which was
Mhm.
civil engineering and architecture. And I thought about it, if I'm able to get into a school with what I'm doing, I might as well just keep going with that and then try to see if if there's if a school of my liking, then I'll add that too, and then look at the differences and see how they play out. How does that play out?
Yeah.
So for me, because there are so many people that go to LaGuardia, it's really hard for the guidance counselors to get a lot of one-on work with the seniors there. So it was a lot of individual research being done for everybody, including myself, which was really hard because you had some kids who didn't know what to do at all because like just the thought of college is really overwhelming. And for me, the way that I went about looking for colleges and where I wanted to go is I have a lot of older friends who are already in college or graduated from college, and they give me insight on like what their experience was like at their schools and why they would recommend it to other people. So a lot of my schools that I picked already had people in them or they graduated from them, plus
Mhm.
the research that I did. I already knew that I wanted to do something along the lines of music or education.
Mhm.
So that also helped narrow down my choices of like which schools had the best programs for that. I ended up applying to a lot of conservatories or a lot of other big schools that had big or smaller programs, depending on how much one on work uh, studying you wanted to do with a lesson teacher. But yeah, the whole process in general, it was somewhat stressful because I didn't have help from my guidance counselor at all.
Mhm.
I did everything by myself. The only thing I really got help from with my teachers was like getting feedback and editing process for my
Personal statement.
personal statement, the college essay. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, so it sounds like you both had to like kind of dig in and research yourself and find things out, and you got a crash course in adulthood because guess what? you know, sometimes you got to just figure things out, and I well, I see you both did it, and I'm gonna say this now. I'm not surprised because I know both of you. I know the type of people you are, and I know the backgrounds of your families and things like that. So, I'm not surprised at all that you guys found a way to get it done. And let's move on a little bit. So, what advice would you give anybody during this process or process of transition, especially getting everything that's going on? What advice would you give?
Definitely be on time with deadlines. Keep your eyes peeled for scholarships because um, it's really going to college is expensive, like especially if
Mm-hmm.
you're going out of state or you decide that you want to do the dorm life. Books are crazy expensive, dorming is expensive. You also have to consider commute. If you don't get that much scholarship, you might have to consider taking out a loan, which
Mm-hmm.
depending on how much you have to take out.
Scary words, scary words, scary words.
Very scary. So if you find scholarships, definitely apply to them. Finish your senior year strong because you may get accepted to some places and you think you got it and you slack off at the end of the year and they take your acceptance right back. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
stay on top of your stuff.
Yeah, I agree. It's it seems like, well, I know that for the kids, I think believe them starting at September again. The seniors coming up in September is going to be in school, correct?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So maybe it's not as, maybe it won't be as hard. Hopefully that it won't be the same process we had to go through, But if it does happen to become this way, I would say just be, like Aziza said, be on time with your work. Stay focused. It's easy to slack off. I know, I've done it. So it'll seem like it'll seem slow, but that's what they say. Slow and steady wins the race. So you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to add on, like, I would not wait until the fall to start working on college essays or just looking at how to fill out applications. I would start that all like at the beginning of the summer. That's what
Or
helped
no.
me push ahead and get a jump start, especially like if you're applying for the arts and stuff. I already was working on my repertoire a year before I knew where I wanted to apply to. So um, keep a list of requirements and stuff that you need for your colleges because it'll definitely help you stay organized. Um, yeah.
Oh, oh, wow. Great advice from both of you guys. And I love what James said, slow and steady wins the race. And both of you said, look, you got to be ready and meet those deadlines. The deadlines are important. Kids don't listen to adults, but hopefully they'll listen to you two because, you've been through it and you're a little bit closer to age than them than I am, just a little bit. But, you know, they tend, kids tend to listen to their peers a little bit more. So
Yes.
I'm glad you guys were able to come on and talk about this time. So here's my flower segment. I asked these two to come on because they both played for me. It's been what, 3-4 years? It's crazy. So these two
Corey.
were part of my first, yeah. These two were part of my first middle school team. They drove me nuts. And I'm gonna start with James. So James, he ain't listen to nobody. Okay. Giving a hard time, right? His mama had to come chase him a few times, right? But and then on the court, he was slow as molasses. Okay, but he knew where he was supposed to be, but sometimes he just couldn't get there.
And they call me
But
Big Baby Davis for a
the
reason.
big baby, okay,
Big
yeah,
Baby.
big. I don't know about the
Just a little
Davis
more in
part.
shape. Just a little
Just a
more in
little bit more
shape.
shape,
Just a little more in shape. I can do a
but
little everything though.
yes, definitely could have do a little more everything, a little bit of everything. And that's why I was always on him. But it was always bigger than basketball with James. We saw stuff in him that sometimes he didn't even see in himself. And then I don't know what happened, but he figured it out, and he was like, "Oh, this is what they was talking about." And then he became student body president, which was crazy to me, but not really because it's like, okay, so he figured it out, and now you decided on architecture, and you're driving now, which is crazy. It bugged me out to see you
Yeah.
driving, but you're going to school for architecture, student body president, graduating high school, level head, and and that's why. And I'm glad it's working out because that's why we was always on you.
Yeah.
He
I can
saw the
feel it.
vision and it worked out. So,
Thank you.
shout out to you.
Appreciate you.
You working hard and keep going. And you know what? And I appreciate the fact that even here on here, you said, I was slacking off a little bit, and that's real. You noticed that you were slacking off and then you decided to pick it back up again and do what you need to do. And that's a real, that's a real response, a real answer. And I appreciate that. Aziza, I know I'm gonna tell everybody this story. I told Aziza this story when she graduated. I put Aziza on the team initially because I thought she would help people with their homework because she's super smart, super dedicated. It's real talk. She's super smart, super dedicated. She wanted to be there. Such a nice girl. I didn't really know her like that. Such a nice girl. Always wanted to be around. So I was like, all
Oh.
right, she'll work hard, and I know at the end of the day, the least thing that can happen is that everybody's gonna get good grades because she'll help people with their work. But little did I know that she would be one of the hardest workers I've ever had in my program. And the definition of somebody who turned themselves into a player, um, which was incredible. Plus, she was doing Juilliard trumpet, and she's a straight A student. And then every day after practice, what do I need to do to get better? What do I need to do to get better? And I'm like, this girl driving me crazy, man. What do
Kudos
I
to
need to do to
you.
get better? And I'll just give her some advice, and then she would take it. She practicing the next day, and then I'm looking up, and I'm like, wait a minute, I have to. The other coach Andre, I was like, yo, I have to start Aziza. She's making me. I said, make me play you. Do it. Do what you need to do to make me play you. And I'm like, yo, I got to start Aziza. She's gonna make me play her. So she went from this is the type of work, and I want everybody to know this is what work looks like and sounds like. She went from not being a basketball player and just being on the team because she was nice worked hard, and could help everybody with their grades, to in the middle of a tournament telling me that she was going to guard the other team's best player and shut them down. Fact. See, James knows. James knows what to talk about. We in the middle of a tournament. This kid was killing us. He had like 20 in the first half. He's killing us. I'm throwing a fit, about to have a heart attack. And she pulls me to the side and she says, I'm going to guard him. Okay. And this is co-ed team. So this co-ed, it's Aziza and Athena on the team. It's co-ed. She said, I'm going to guard him. And I said, well, he better not score. You know, I'm supposed to score. He better not score. So the only points he scored is because he scored 2 free throws. She got tired and was mad that she fouled him. So what she didn't realize is that we went on like a 12, 15-0 run. She shut him down and then hit 2 threes on the other end. And we up like 12, 13 points. And she mad because she fouled him. I can't say nothing. You did your job. Yeah, be mad you fouled him. Meanwhile, I'm like, we up 12 points because you told me you was going to go guard him. So I can't say nothing to you. Right. So, and I like to tell that story. I always refer back to that because, you never know what you're going to get out of a person. And, sometimes being you is enough, right? You're a hard worker, you're dedicated in anything you do. And I really appreciate that. And I can tell that story to anybody. Like, it doesn't, just because you're not a player now doesn't mean you're never going to be a player. So shout out to you. And then she went on to go play at LaGuardia in high school, and she's playing basketball there. And, just another thing in her resume, shout out to you that I'm able to tell that story to people, and your hard work and your dedication, and it shows. And now you're going to, she was being recruited by colleges, y'all. They was fighting. They was trying to get her to play the trumpet and music and do all the things. So shout out to you.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to both of you. Different stories, but same result, because it all came down to what? You guys making a decision, being hard workers, being strong in what you do. So I definitely appreciate the both of you. And it kind of, and it let me know, it kind of helps me with my validation. It's like all that screaming and frustration let me know that it worked. Getting in y'all and pushing y'all and the 7 a.m. practices before class, and those long games and whatnot. It's worth it when I get to speak to you guys. So appreciate the both of you. That is a wrap. Thank you for your time. Hopefully this is helpful to a lot of people just making in that transition. They get to watch it. You can check this out on YouTube or on Apple Music. Yeah, I'm on Apple Podcasts. Yeah. And I'm on Spotify.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I'm doing things. I'm doing some things. So, but once again, thank you for your time, and I will see y'all later. Peace.